caught in a never-ending loop.
I'm sending my recording to heck.
That is not a Geek-Cetera approved action.
It's a lot of snow and a lot of wind all at once.
What the heck? Who put things in there for me?
So are you doing this or what?
3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, it's Wild Josh, and can you believe it? It's 2018. Woohoo! I am so glad. Now, all of us here at Geek-Cetera are really excited about the new year, and we actually have some pretty big plans for it. And with that being said, I'm going to shoot over to Kyle so he can fill you in on it.
Shoot it on over, Josh. I know he slacked off a little bit this year.
A little bit? A little bit.
A lot of it. And we're going to get into that this episode, but with the new year, we got new plans coming in. So we're going to focus, we're going to get some fresh new content. I think I spoke about that when I released the last podcast. We're going to get new videos. Make sure you're subscribed to our podcast, but also to our YouTube, our Twitter. Well, I guess you can't really subscribe, so follow us on Twitter, but subscribe to us on YouTube. Those who are technically savvy, you understand all this stuff, so I'm not even going to say what you should do. I'm just going to say where we're at. So YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We have a new Facebook page, and we're going to add some new segments to the show. We'll start doing that probably in our next episode. Hopefully, these things will bring a smile to our listeners' faces.
Yeah, and along with that, we're going to end up having our first real podcast in this actual format with both Luke and myself at some point if Luke shows up. Along with having some...
Well, he can't help himself.
No, it's easy. Somebody lobs a joke like that over the plate, and it has to be done. Yeah, so along with Luke and myself, we're going to end up having some regular guests to bring on some different perspectives to what you might be hearing from the rest of us.
But that's not this podcast for those of you who had your hopes up.
So without further ado, you're listening to Geek-Cetera, so let's get geeky.
Hey, Zibarelios here. You're listening to Geek-Cetera. Stay tuned, there's a lot more cool stuff to come. Carabast.
In our first segment, which we're going to call I Know What You Did Last Month, because it's been that long since we've recorded, we got a few minutes to talk about the geeky stuff we did since our last episode. And we're going to start with you, Kyle.
All right, well, I started playing this game Fortnite, which you can download for free on PlayStation Network, at least on the PlayStation 4. It's a Royal Rumble type game where, well, actually, I've only played one mode. I don't know about the other one, but you get dropped in on a map that is continually shrinking to bring everybody together. One versus everybody else in up to 100 players.
Wow.
And it's last man standing wins. But no, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You always got to be watching. It's open world concept. I'm really liking it.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of those kind of games are emerging now. Seems like that's the kind of popular trend.
Yeah, I like that you only get, one chance, one shot to make it through the whole thing. I don't. It's definitely getting my interest a lot more than Battlefront. I feel like Battlefront was immediately a grind from the time I started playing it. It was fun, especially with the story mode. But Fortnite, I want to play. I'm going back to it for fun and not just because it has Star Wars on it, which it doesn't.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you. All right, good.
I have a question, though, about your game, Fortnite.
Sure.
I remember when this game was in development, and they were talking about it on another podcast that I listened to. I thought this game was a base builder game. So is this like a free, like you got this maybe this part of the game for free, but really the main game is a fort builder, or is this something totally different? And I have a fort building game in my mind that's not Fortnite, but sounds close to it.
Probably the PvE part is more of a base building game.
Okay.
There are base building aspects to the Royal Rumble that I play, but it's definitely more towards the end as defense. But you're not really going to build a base in this one,
okay?
Especially at the beginning of the game, maybe in the end game, but at the beginning, you're grabbing resources because you don't start off with any resources and starting to move towards the center of the map.
What else?
What else? I mean, we've been gone so long.
I know we could make this segment really long if we wanted to. We don't have to, but I mean, there's been a lot that's happened since we last recorded.
Really? Because since we last recorded, I've just been so dark and depressed. I haven't done anything. I've just been waiting for you guys to come back and talk to me.
That is sad.
It is sad.
Talk to you
but
every
you know
day.
What? To get my spirits up. What?
I talk to you every day. And text.
Yeah.
Text.
But you know what? To get my spirits up from not talking to Josh on those off days, I watched The Greatest Showman. with Josh and our wives and some other friends. But I watched that movie, The Greatest Showman, with Hugh Jackman. It was very good. I really liked it. My wife loved it. She's a big musical girl. I like musicals too, so it was fantastic for anyone who likes them. If you don't, you will.
You're a big musical girl too. I can't say enough good things about this movie. I'm not a big musical. I like music and stuff, but I'm a fan of music. But a musical fan, not so much. I didn't really care for Les Miserables. I think I actually shut it off. And so I'm just not a big fan of that kind of stuff. This, though, blew me away. I really enjoyed the music. And actually, in the last couple days since we've seen it, I've been listening to the music. I'll just put the soundtrack on. Some of the songs on it are so good. I don't know why they're not on the radio. They're that good. And another thing that I really liked, and if you know me and at all and have listened to this podcast for any amount of time, it was super clean. It was rated PG. And there was really nothing in there that you would feel uncomfortable watching with your kid as a family show. So I thought it was very good. I really liked it. I would recommend it highly. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it as well. I couldn't imagine being disappointed by it. So
yeah, I'm glad that you said that you didn't like musicals too and you still enjoyed it, because I have plans to go see it at some point. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big musical fan, so I was a little but hearing that you guys both liked it, even though it was a musical, is at least a little encouraging to me.
Yeah, and I don't know how all musicals are, but it was a musical, but it had a story. So it wasn't all musical. They would break into musical parts, but there was a good amount of it that wasn't musical too, as well. There was just a story, and then there would be some singing, and then there's more story. So it wasn't like it just went one song into the next, More like a movie like Beauty and the Beast or something like that, where there's story and music.
Okay. Honestly, though, Josh, you might not be a musical fan, but I know you're a big music fan. Chase is a music fan. Chase plays guitar. I don't know how many other instruments you play.
Plays guitar. That's funny.
Chase tries to play the guitar.
He strums the guitar.
Josh is a singer. Oh. We karaoke sometimes. It's been a while, but Josh likes to sing. He's a very good singer. So if there's a tune that you really like and you're going to put it on, I'm not surprised by that, because I bet you've been also singing and maybe a little dancing there, Twinkle Toes.
Well, I will try to sing along, but I can't really keep up. But my wife, who is a singer, she at times in her life was semi-professional. She actually really liked it, and she's been singing some of the songs, and she's been trying to record them, although she's kind of dealing with a cold right now, so it's not the best time for her to be singing. But actually, she's working on some stuff that she said that she's going to let us use for the podcast, some music. So that would be cool, and some of it's going to relate to The Greatest Showman. She really liked that song that was in it. I forget the girl's name who was the actress anyways, but the character she played was Jenny Lind. Do you remember her, Kyle, in the movie? Yeah. That song that she sings when she comes to America, she really likes that song. She's been listening to it nonstop lately, and she's trying to learn that, and she wants to sing that. So it's a really good song, really powerful. But anyways, that's enough about Greatest Showman. I would recommend it, though.
Yeah. And lastly, I was secretly videotaped by one of my friends, and it was put on YouTube. On its face, that sounds really creepy. But
you know what? Your friend, I know this friend, and he secretly videotaped me recently too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I got to send you that.
Okay. It's not on YouTube?
No, it's not on YouTube.
Okay.
I think he's kind of a creepy stalker guy.
a little bit. You could definitely make that case. But anybody that wants to see that, its title is Bronah, Bronah, and Kyfry, Kyfry on YouTube. And really all it is if you're wondering, who is this kid Kyle? Who is this guy, super friendly?
This explains a lot about it.
Yeah. If you're wondering, is this is he putting on a persona? No, not really. I'm just a embarrassing slob, and you can kind of figure that out without watching the full 8 minutes of that video. So that's what I've been up to.
Wait, so he was able to secretly videotape you for 8 minutes?
Yeah, for
longer
him
than that because he cut it down. And there is at least one point in the video where he looks at the screen and smiles because he knows what I'm doing is going to be great.
I think we should probably mention that if you do watch the video of Kyle, it is for mature audiences only because there's some crazy stuff that happens in that video.
Huh.
It's not really for mature audiences only. He just takes his shirt off. But
whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah, nope. That video is not getting any views.
The video of me that he took was only probably like a minute or two, but it was when we were playing that game the other night. He totally was taping my reaction to the fact that I was the only one left in the game at the very end, and I was kind of duped by my wife and cousin. So,
okay.
So that's all you got?
That's all I got.
What about you, Chase?
Yeah, so I have a bit that I can talk about. I'll try and keep it fairly short. My dad has been wanting me to talk about what 3 words for a while. So if you don't know what that is, just a brief thing on it is he found it a while ago. It's this cool app that breaks down the entire Earth into coordinates that are based on 3 words. So the idea of this was to, give everywhere a physical address. So if you're homeless and you need a package delivered or you want mail, if you're applying for a job or something and they need an address, you can, find your park bench on this map and it will have an address. So, I can go into some random place in the middle of Manchester, so I'll just pick a park. So say I pick, Dairyfield Park is one of the bigger parks in Manchester. And I know that I usually park in one particular spot. I usually park right at transmitted.beard.mixed. That's now if somebody goes onto this app and types in transmitted.beard.mixed, they will see the parking spot that I usually use when I go to this field.
Really?
And it's a 3 foot by 3 foot area. So it's really, really precise. And so, the entire world is mapped out like that. Each of them having these 3-word designations. So it's a really cool thing. It's really fun to just play around with. And, you look at all the places that you usually visit. You can look at your house and find what room yours is and whatever. It's just a really cool, goofy thing.
Yeah, that is strange.
My dad's been wanting me to talk about for a while.
That does sound awesome.
Then I've also, a couple of my friends and I played football on Christmas Day in a snowstorm. I don't think that in itself is particularly geeky, but I think our dedication to the fact that it was, 10 degrees and 6 inches of snow, and we were still out there playing.
Sweet.
That was fun.
Yeah, I've done that before when I was younger, and that is fun.
Yeah, we did that a couple days ago too, in -2 degrees. So
you just wait a couple years though, and playing football hurts too much, and you won't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that doesn't sound like fun to me.
Like I said, you'll grow up.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we've been talking about a little bit about our fantasy teams throughout this year. Fantasy has finally ended, and I did not do very well.
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football, yes. I should have.
Oh, fantasy football. Okay.
Yes. No. So this.
What fantasy were you living, Kyle?
None of your beans.
Not the greatest year for me. My highest placing was 3rd place, and I missed out on the championship, courtesy of one Mr. Carson Wentz deciding to go and tear his ACL and leaving my team without a quarterback.
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
I heard that they really like it when you tweet at them and tell them that they messed up your fantasy team when they got hurt.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go do that and let Carson know. Yeah, so I lost my quarterback. The first week I started Tom Brady, and while I love him to death, he is terrible for fantasy.
I can tell you he probably did better than Dak Prescott for me.
Oh, true. I did also have Dak in a league, and he's garbage. So what I ended up doing is I replaced them with Brady's successor, Jimmy Garoppolo, who has actually been playing fantastic. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to become one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Are you a 49ers fan now, Chase?
I'm not a 49ers fan as much as I am a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I want the 49ers to win.
He is dreamy.
Because I want Garoppolo to win. Yeah. When he was drafted by the Patriots, being drafted by the Patriots means there's something special about you because Bill Belichick is... Yes, it does.
Oh, give me a break.
Really?
Yes, it does.
Come on. They've had a ton of draft busts.
Would you rather be drafted...
Hernandez.
Here's the thing, Kyle. Would you rather be drafted by the Patriots by Bill Belichick, an amazing coach, won so many Super Bowls, or would you rather be drafted by the Browns?
Looking at it from a player standpoint, I'd absolutely love to be drafted by the Patriots. But looking at it from a personnel standpoint, or compared to other GMs, it's not like Belichick has the market cornered on the draft. Speaking of corners,
he does
his
have
corners have been terrible.
Well,
yes, they have.
He does have the market cornered on being like the smartest coach ever.
I agree.
And you got to say, he does draft well. He has a couple of idiots here and there, but he always trades away the first couple round picks. He doesn't like the first 3 rounds even. He always picks in like the 4th round.
I think it's too much of a gamble because those guys, you get them on your team, then you got to pay them tons of money.
Yeah.
And then 90%, it feels like, I maybe not 90%, but a high percentage of the time, they're not even that good and they don't end up lasting on the team for that long.
Yeah, so the thing is, the Patriots always end up trading away those picks. So when they kept their 2nd round pick to take a quarterback when they know they have Tom Brady on their team, that to me was like, okay, this kid is good.
And it's kind of sad that all they got in return for him was another 2nd round pick. Like,
yeah, I know.
Jacoby Brissett.
It's crazy.
Jacoby Brissett was an amazing deal for us. Waste a pick on him. That was a late round pick, and we got a 3rd round pick back for it.
Yeah,
he played
Jacoby Brissett was
a game and a half.
Going to be. Even with the Colts, he's probably not going to be their starter. As soon as Luck comes back, he's going to be riding the bench.
Yeah. Yes, you can say Jimmy Garoppolo was very good. Jacoby Brissett was not very good.
Yeah, but he was a 3rd round quarterback, and we got a 3rd round pick for him.
Right.
I mean, 3rd string quarterback, and we got a 3rd round pick for him. That's fine. That's great. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay, but he was a 3rd round pick.
Wait, they didn't just get the pick for him, right? They got
Dorsett.
Which he's been. He hasn't caught a lot of passes, but he has contributed.
Okay.
I think he has caught more passes than he's dropped. Needless to say, those numbers are, not very high, but.
Let's be honest, though. How it always takes Brady at least a year to warm up to a receiver. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So enough of that. Then I guess the last thing I'll talk about is a game called Pit. I had played it a million years ago with one of my friends and forgot about it. I texted him like, "Hey, what was the name of this random game that we played 3 years ago?" And he's like, "Pit." I'm like, "Okay." So we get it. That's a really fun card game if you're ever looking for a card game to play. It's basically a trade-based card game in which everybody's turn is happening at the same time, and it gets very loud and very confusing. Very high-paced, very active.
It's very loud.
Yeah, and then other than that, I don't think I have anything else I need to talk about, so we can move on to you, Josh.
All right, very good. So I'm going to start off my segment by getting a little personal, and I hope you can. I'll make you all very uncomfortable because I know that's how personal things make people. But a lot has changed since our last podcast, our last official podcast, where we really sat down and recorded like we're doing right now. I think it was actually the beginning of November, maybe the end of October. But anyways, around episode 8, I decided that I was going to leave the job I had been working at and join the ranks of a self-employed business owner. So I gave my notice at work, and my wife and I decided to start our own company, which was really a big plunge for us. And we were really excited about the new adventure, though, and the opportunity that being self-employed was going to present. About a week into that new adventure, we got some very startling news. After 14 years of marriage, we found out that we're going to be expecting our first child, which we're obviously overjoyed, and we're happy. The Geek-Cetera team is going to grow. But it really means that I'm to blame. I'm kind of the one to blame for us not creating new content.
Oh,
it kind of rests on my shoulders.
I thought you were going to say the one to blame for the baby. I was like, of course you are.
I would hope so.
You can't go pointing fingers there, buddy.
I'm not going to take all the blame for that, but yeah, a large amount of it was on my shoulders. But just from a Geek-Cetera standpoint, that is a large reason as to why we haven't been recording lately. There's just been so much going on in my life with starting a new company and now having a baby on the way that I just didn't have the time to dedicate. But now things are starting to roll forward and have been less hectic. So hopefully from here, for a while anyways, we'll be able to continue to make pretty good content regularly. But come summertime, there's a chance that things are going to get hectic again because the baby is due in July. we'll see how things go. But I'm going to take it one day at a time, and we'll see what happens. But
here's a question, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have a girl or a boy? Which one do you want?
I feel like it's hard to say. I've always said that whatever, as long as it's healthy, I'm going to be happy. I feel like I can connect easier with a boy because I know I'm a boy. But I think that's going to be the case. Like my wife says the same thing about a girl. Like she feels like if it was a girl, she could connect better. She could do her hair and teach it how to do makeup and things like that. Like me, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I want to be like, I want to teach them how to throw a baseball and a football and watch sports and like Star Wars and all that. But she keeps telling me, you can do all that stuff with a girl or a boy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I guess she's right. Yeah. She is right. You can teach a girl. I mean, my sister was a girl, and she's pretty tomboyish. Like she can throw and play sports and stuff, and she likes Star Wars. Maybe not as much as we do, but
what concerns me there was your phrasing. You said, "My sister was a girl."
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she still is a girl. She's not transgender.
Oh boy, gosh!
Don't tell Brona.
I will not. I will not.
No, she's a girl still. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I think so. Anyways.
She was, and she is.
Yeah, she was. She
is again.
Continue to be, I think, for the foreseeable future. Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Boy, oh boy, we've gone off the rails. That's enough of that personal stuff. But I just thought I owed it to the fans to let them know why we haven't been recording as much and why things have been a little bit off for us.
Well, we're very happy for you. We're really excited. You're gonna be a good
thanks.
dad.
I would hope so.
Well, at least Becky's gonna be a good mom, and you'll be there.
Exactly.
You know?
She'll definitely be a good mom. I will try my best to help and keep up. But so thank you. I appreciate that. We're really excited. But in other news, other geeky things that I did in the last month, which, like I said earlier, there's so much that I could only pick out a couple things. I saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi twice. I did see it twice. I thought the second time seeing it was better. But one of the things I did want to mention is that I put up a YouTube video called 5 Things I Loved About Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I would love it for you guys to check it out, get some more views on that. It's kind of created a little bit of commenting back and forth between fans, which is cool. It's putting us in touch with different Star Wars fans out there and their opinions of the movie. The lady, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It was like Miss Vesuvi or something like that. She's been commenting pretty heavily on it, and she puts together really good sound arguments. She really thinks about the movie and the Star Wars universe. You can tell she's a big fan of the Star Wars universe, and her arguments are really good. So I'd say check that out just for the comments, and maybe you disagree, maybe you don't. That's the great thing about being a nerd, that you can have a different opinion, and we might hate that opinion, but we got to accept it because it is your opinion. So. And then the other thing I did recently is I've been working on Star Wars Who's Who again, my little video series that I've been putting up on YouTube. I put up 3 videos in the last probably 2 weeks. I did one on Yaddle, I did one on Trinto Dwaba, and I did one on another guy from this Last Jedi. I just put that one up last night, and I can't even remember his name. He was a cool little character, though. So anyways, check those out, and when you get a chance. Then played a board game recently. Luke, Kyle, myself, and Ryan played. We played this game called Clank, where you're basically an alien thief trying to steal from a supervillain on a spaceship, and everything you do creates noise. So you have to put... Yeah, they're called Clank, yeah. So everything you do makes noise, and you got to put like little colored cubes in this bag, almost like a Scrabble bag. And as the game progresses, if your colors start getting picked out of there, you take health damage, basically. And your whole premise of this game is to get across the board to this area and then all the way back to like the escape bays on the spaceship. And it's fun. And we had a blast playing it. I think we played it like 2 or 3 times that weekend.
Yeah, except we wanted to play it again, and you were like, I don't want to play that game again. I don't want to play that game again. So I don't know why you're bringing it up now.
I thought it was fun. I just don't want to play it like, I mean, come on. Let's be real.
You want to play it twice?
No, we played it twice.
So are you doing this or what?
Why you have to be like that? All right, you ready?
No, we played it once, and you were like, oh, I don't want to play that again. That's
No. We played it twice because we played it the board was different twice, and the board was way harder the second time because it's a game that you can flip the pieces over and make a different board.
We played the first time.
Yeah, that was twice.
Right. We played the first time and we played again, but after the first time, you're like, I don't want to play that again.
We played it twice.
Yes,
I was
did.
vetoed.
That's not the point.
No, I didn't like it the first time because it took me a while to pick up the game.
Okay.
But then once I got the hang of it, I started to understand. Luke, who had played it before, really had the upper hand on us that first game because he knew exactly what he was doing. And we're like farting around like doo-doo, and he's like hightailing it for that other side of the board to get back. And we had no idea how important that was. So the second game I thought was way more competitive because we knew what was going on. Actually, in the second game, none of us made it out, right? So, yeah, no one won. That was kind of unsatisfying.
Luke won by default because he'd gotten back into the bay, and so he got to count his points.
That's right, Luke won. I hate when Luke wins. Ugh. Anyways, then another game we played that same weekend was a game I picked up at Goodwill for like $1. I saw it on the shelf. It was $1, and I'm like, hey, this game looks kind of cool. It's called Evil Baby Orphanage. And Luke, Chase, Kyle, and myself, and a couple others actually all played this game. And that was kind of fun, too. It took us a little while to get the hang of it, but once we did, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was a very fun game. That was a game I wish I owned.
Really? Well, it's on eBay for $50.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing I don't like about it.
Discount for $45. I am a shrewd businessman. So that's all I had. This concludes I Know What You Did Last Month. Let's move on, but first, a word from one of our friends.
This segment is brought to you by Freihofer Septic Design, the name to know before you go. Call now. Dial 603-209-1221 to make your business our business.
All right, we're back, and we're here with fan theories, and we're going to discuss different theories that we just can't get enough of, and we're going to start with you, Kyle. What do you have?
I just have a quick theory about Jurrasic World Fallen Kingdom.
Ooh, this is interesting, because usually our theories consist of Star Wars, so you're stepping us out of our comfort zone.
I am, but we are Geek-Cetera, not Star Wars-Cetera.
Yeah, I know. True. Why aren't we Star Wars-Cetera?
Because we're Geek-Cetera. I just said that. Anyways, so my theory is a small theory around Jurrasic World Fallen Kingdom. If you watched Star Wars The Last Jedi, you likely saw a trailer for Jurrasic World Fallen Kingdom. I saw the same one. It was sad for me. I did not like seeing dinosaurs fall into the water where they likely will have drowned.
They died once, you know. They're going to die again.
Well, it still makes me sad. I don't want to watch it. I was, you know what? And I was okay when in the first Jurassic... What was it? Jurassic Park? Yeah, the first one, Jurassic Park, like when there's a dinosaur on the ground and it's, opened up from a carnivorous dinosaur. Carnivorous. Words are hard.
I know. For you.
Carnivore, like when there was a dead animal that had been eaten.
Brain flatulence.
Forget it. I just don't like seeing dead animals or dying animals, or especially if they're dinosaurs. Anyways, I looked up the plot synopsis, and what I found says Owen, played by Chris Pratt, and Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, which doesn't matter. I didn't remember what their names were, those characters' names. It doesn't matter. It's Chris Pratt. That's what I'm going to call him. Anyways, Chris and Bryce return to Isla Nublar to save the dinosaurs, and then blah, blah, blah. There's a volcano for some silly reason, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but this is what I want to focus on. So, in that synopsis, along the way, Chris Pratt sets out to find Blue, his lead raptor, and discovers a conspiracy that could disrupt the natural order of the entire planet. Here's where my theory falls in line. My theory is, Chris Pratt, those dinosaurs are not your friends. This is an elaborate plan to get more humans just to come to the island so they can all eat you. You see Chris Pratt and Blue, they have a moment. You see a T-Rex come and save Chris Pratt from a big dinosaur, and it's just... They're smart. The raptors are smart animals, and they just know that Chris Pratt will be trusting and bring all his friends for a tasty snack on Isla Nublar. And that is my theory.
So you think that the premise of Fallen Kingdom is that the dinosaurs are playing a trick on the humans so they can get dinner?
Yes, that is the conspiracy.
Oh.
it's going to disrupt the natural order of the entire planet because it's going to be more like Planet of the Dinosaurs a la Planet of the Apes.
Well, I'm selling that for sure.
Or Planet of the Apes a la Planet of the Dinosaurs, whatever it is. You're selling that?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible, but they should have stopped at like Jurassic Park 2. So.
Yeah, I don't love that theory, but they're dinosaurs. They don't have the ability to think and say, oh.
Okay, but you're wrong. You're wrong, Josh.
Why am I wrong?
Go watch Jurassic World.
What kind of dinosaur did you cook up in that laboratory there?
Go watch Jurassic World, and they talk about the T-Rex or the Indominus Rex, whatever it is.
There was one dinosaur.
Okay, it's one dinosaur, but these are all genetically modified dinosaurs. These are all built by science. So
Agreed.
If they make one dinosaur that's smart, all the dinosaurs are probably pretty smart. And, as you know, Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way. So, they're gonna play off that idea. You can tell it was in the trailer that life finds a way. Best part
He
of
does
the trailer.
say that.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I mean, I loved.
I don't agree. I'm just gonna say I don't agree with Kyle, but I think that the idea that the dinosaurs could be smarter than you are letting on is true.
I did love the original Jurassic Park, but I'm kind of done with it. Like, how many more times can the dinosaurs get free and eat people and it be entertaining?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think I'm done with that, but I'll probably watch it anyways because I have Movie Pass, so why not? Movie Pass. You get one. No,
Please.
we had the money. So, is that all your theory wraps up to? That humans are dino food?
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Chase?
My theory is going Last Jedi based, which very, counterintuitive, because I didn't enjoy the movie as much as I hoped to. But my theory is with Snoke, so this is going to be a spoiler if you haven't seen Last Jedi. Don't listen to the rest of this podcast, just don't. Snoke isn't dead.
Yes, he is.
You can say that, but he isn't. So my theory is that he was projecting himself, sort of like we got to see Luke do. So, one of the things that my sister said is she likes the idea how they kind of built on the new powers early in the movie, so that way by the end you weren't surprised by things. So I think that they built on, Luke being able to cast his body across the universe, so that way when Snoke comes back in the next episode, people aren't as surprised. And I think he did it for the benefit of Kylo, to help turn Kylo completely to the dark side. There's probably more I could build off with this theory, but I didn't think it through far enough aside to say that, when you see one thing in Star Wars, it's not the last time that you see that thing. So I'm expecting that we'll see the ability to show your form across the galaxy.
I don't love it. I want Snoke to be dead. I want him to be dead and done, and that's it.
I also just thought of another part to add to this. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you watch Star Wars Theory, one of the best Star Wars YouTube channel out there.
Besides my own.
Then I'm sorry, Josh. He goes through the visual dictionary and talks about how Snoke is rarely seen, and when he is seen, he projects his body to be bigger and more or less disfigured than he actually is. So I'm just going to add that to the fact that I don't think we've actually seen Snoke yet, and I think it was a projection.
I think the reason that is there, that line is because in Force Awakens we only see him as a projection, right? And then people, well, I guess that doesn't work because in the projection they were saying he was uglier than in this. I don't know. I would hate that though, if that's true, if he's not really dead, because I don't know how you can force project yourself cut in half. I mean, Luke didn't do that.
But if Snoke is as powerful as they say he is, then
and that was his ship. I mean, that was his executor. That was for anyone who doesn't know, Executor was the Emperor's ship in the original trilogy. But I don't know. It'd be surprising.
So if you guys, I know you guys like Star Wars Theory, the YouTuber. Star Wars Theory has something very similar to Chase. He's coming out and saying he has these inside sources, and he's on one of his YouTube videos, he's playing, scrolling through all the emails he has with this inside source that says Snoke is not dead. Basically very similar to what Chase is saying, and that Snoke will return in Episode 9. I don't like it. I don't think it makes any sense. I think one of the reasons to get rid of Snoke, to get rid of Phasma, and to really minimize Hux, which they did, they castrated that guy, is to bring in the Knights of Ren.
That would be cool.
And I don't think you can do both.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's funny to me when someone comes out, especially like a guy like Star Wars Theory, and no disrespect to Star Wars Theory. I'm a fan of Star Wars Theory's videos. I think they're really well done. But I could contact Star Wars Theory and be like, hey, by the way, I'm working on the set of Episode 9, and this is what I'm telling you. And how can he confirm his source? You know?
I agree with that, but I feel like because of the amount of effort that he puts into his videos, he's probably done a lot of background checks and is probably pretty sure that he is dealing with sources.
I don't know. People catfish people all the time. And they're all 100% sure, no, this is not a catfish. This is the real deal. And every single time they show up at that house, it's some fat dude living in his parents' basement. Every time. So, I don't know. I think he's being catfished.
It's possible.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
But and I don't like the theory. I really don't. I want Snoke to be dead. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again in great debate. I don't love resurrection stories. I think when characters die, you need to let them die. And I think it's
like
more,
past.
Huh?
Like the past?
Yeah, like the past. Let it die like the past. So I think it's more. There's more story because life is heartache sometimes. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And you know what? When someone close to you dies, they don't usually come back. They're dead. So I think it's a better story when someone dies, stays dead, than when someone dies and then comes back in some fanciful way. I don't love that. And so that's just my own personal opinion. I know a lot of people like happy endings. I do not like happy endings. So, yeah. If you've ever read any of the stuff I've written, you know I don't like happy endings. I usually kill all my main characters off. So,
wow.
Yeah. That's all you got, Chase?
Yep.
Very good. So I got a theory that I really am kind of into. I know it's not a big deal. It really isn't like as far as like, is Snoke dead or alive or what's going to happen to Luke and all this stuff. This is kind of a minor theory, but there's been a lot of question and speculation as to Kylo Ren's crystal in those lightsaber, or just his lightsaber in general. Some mystery around why it's so unstable. How did he craft it? Why isn't it like regular lightsabers? And it got me thinking about this, and I did some research. I found some really cool theories out there on the internet, and I wanted to put them together. So it basically comes down to the fact that and I fall under this category, I feel that Ben Solo, by the time he turns, had gone through enough Jedi training that he was capable of crafting his own lightsaber. Would you agree with that statement?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And we know, because there was some flashbacks, we know that in at least one of the flashbacks, he's wielding a lightsaber to protect himself.
Green one.
Was it green or blue? I think it was blue.
Oh, you're right. Luke had a blue one. I mean, Luke had a green one.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yes.
No, sorry. I mean, it was yellow. Sorry for the spoiler.
No, never mind. Anyway, so if we're to believe that that flashback in any ways, there is some you're not really sure which of the flashbacks was real, I guess, is kind of the way it ends. But anyways, we know he has a lightsaber in one of them at least. So there's 3 different possibilities of this crystal that I believe one of them is the actual truth, and I'll get to that one last. The first one is that the crystal wasn't important. So that the crystal means nothing. That Kylo Ren made this lightsaber. It's unstable because he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't like this theory because I think he was trained on how to craft a lightsaber by Luke Skywalker when he was in Jedi training school. And he would know how to make a lightsaber. And if you look at every single thing about Kylo Ren, he's so sentimental, right? Everything means something to him. His mask means something. His outfit means something. The lightsaber must mean something as well. So I don't think it's just that it's unimportant and that he just didn't know what he was doing when he built his lightsaber. I think there's a reason it's unstable and it's like that. So it comes down to the crystal. The number 2 theory would be that it's Vader's crystal. So at the end of Return of the Jedi, Vader is killed. Luke takes his body off of the Death Star. We don't see Luke take the lightsaber. He takes his father's body, and then he burns it on a pyre on Endor. But we don't see him take the lightsaber. So it's possible that Luke could have taken the lightsaber as memento, and that Kylo Ren could have gotten a hold of that lightsaber, deconstructed it, and used his grandfather's crystal in his own lightsaber. But that doesn't explain why it was unstable. So if that's the case, you would think it would just have a normal lightsaber beam and not an unstable beam. My personal opinion is that when the Death Star went boom, so didn't Vader's lightsaber. It was just there inside the Death Star, and it became part of the debris. The third option here is my favorite, and I think this is the most likely candidate for the lightsaber crystal, is that it's a piece of kyber crystal from the Death Star's death ray. I really like this theory. So we know, because they've made movies now and TV shows about the building of the Death Star from Rogue One and Star Wars Rebels, that the Imperials were in search of a large kyber crystal to create their technological terror. And when the Death Star blew up, I think that there were fragments that were left floating in space that now were kyber crystals with stress fractures all through them because of the explosion of the Death Star. And that is the crystal that he's using. Those are that type of crystal, or a crystal that was part of the original firing mechanism of the Death Star, is what is in his lightsaber hilt.
That'd be cool.
That's a cool theory, because you can picture this crystal that is all kind of like cracked and broken, but still complete enough to create a lightsaber beam, and that's why his lightsaber beam is so unstable.
Yeah, I like that one the best too.
Yeah, I think that would be a really cool idea.
The thing I don't like about the first one is, like you said, he knew how to construct a lightsaber, but also I feel like even if he didn't, and he made that lightsaber when he was unexperienced, when he gained that experience, he would have rebuilt his lightsaber.
Right.
So I don't like that one. I like the idea that it could have been Vader's crystal, because that shows his sentimentality, but I agree with you on the fact that it doesn't explain why it's unstable.
Right. The only thing I could see is that there's a possible fourth, that the lightsaber did get blown up in the Death Star, or damaged at least.
Yeah.
And he was able to find it and reuse the crystal, but the crystal was damaged.
So that seems unlikely. I feel like it's more likely that he would find the crystal that was blown up from the death ray than it was that he would find Darth Vader's lightsaber floating out in space in all that debris.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too, because they could find a large chunk of the kyber crystal, because it was huge. It was massive, right? It was like the size of a Volkswagen or something, or maybe bigger. And there would be little shards floating around it because of the explosion. And then, or they could even take the big one and just get a piece off of it or something. But yeah.
So I'm selling all of that.
You don't think any of that's right?
Nope.
What do you think is right? Do you have a theory?
Do you know where Vader got his lightsaber?
No.
In the new canon.
Is it in the 2017 series?
It's in this new Vader run.
No, I haven't read the new one. I've only read the 2016 one.
Okay. Part of how he got his lightsaber was he had to go and find...
Wait, his lightsaber or his kyber crystal?
The kyber crystal for his lightsaber. He had to go and find a Jedi, which was pretty hard because all the Jedi were near extinct. He had to defeat that Jedi and take his lightsaber and the crystal from it, and he had to make the crystal bleed to turn it red. He had to input his hate into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more plausible. By the way, I don't think we're going to see this in a movie. If anything, we'll see it in a book or a comic. But I think Kylo, when he thought he had killed Luke, took Luke's lightsaber, the green one that Luke confronted Kylo with, took that green saber, took the crystal from it, infused his hate into it, which was maybe even more burning than Vader's was, and that's how he created his lightsaber.
That's a cool theory too. I like that one.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think. We don't see Luke with his lightsaber at all, right? His green lightsaber from Return of the Jedi.
Right. And when he projects himself,
why is it so unstable then?
Well, if Kyle was saying that when Kylo inputted his hate into it, if there was so much hate that maybe it could have stressed the crystal and cracked it.
And we have precedent to know he could have cracked it when he and Rey fought over Luke's lightsaber in The Last Jedi.
Because they cracked the lightsaber?
Cracked the lightsaber, maybe even the crystal. I think we see the crystal broken in two in the two pieces of the lightsaber.
That's not a bad theory. I wasn't expecting you to have a better theory. I don't like that. No, I actually don't mind that. I guess that or it came from the Death Star would be cool theories. You think oh man, I don't know. He loved his grandfather so much more than he loved Luke Skywalker.
Right, but
I'd be surprised he'd want any part of Luke Skywalker in anything he's doing.
But it wasn't about the sentimentality of having his uncle's lightsaber. It was about defeating a Jedi and taking his crystal.
And I think he would like the sentimentality of that. If he thought that he had killed Luke and it was a reminder of his power and a reminder of his hatred and a pull towards the dark side.
Yeah.
I think that he would like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible.
Oh, and then the other piece I was going to say was about Luke when he's projecting himself. He actually is holding his original lightsaber that was Anakin's, that blue one, and not the green one. So I think that's something else to point out that could be pointing to Ben having taken that green lightsaber crystal.
Yeah, I did notice that. I was surprised by it. That was one of the things that told me it was a projection and it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Rey kept that lightsaber, right? Rey still has the original?
Well, yeah. Yeah, she has the two pieces now.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It cracked in half, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Anything else?
No, that was your theory.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't know if you had any additional theories.
Nope.
All right. Very good. We hope you like our theories. Now on to the next. But first, a word from our friends.
Hi, friends.
We have no friends.
We have friends. I have friends. This segment is brought to you by Preventure Service Company.
I like it.
Got a major renovation you need done? Armin's been doing it all since 1981. For fast and friendly service, contact Preventure at gsinet.net.
News and rumors. Oh my. This is a segment where we bring out our geeky news and rumors that we're able to dig up. And we're going to start with you, Kyle.
Well, I don't know if this is rumor or if it's more news. I think it's more news.
Unfortunately, I think it's more news.
Yeah, so Quentin Tarantino is going to get a turn to helm a Star Trek movie. And his
Star
goal
Trek?
is Star Trek. I wrote Star
Trek.
Wars.
Okay.
Yes. No, that would be
I was
the
confused
worst
and concerned.
decision ever if it was Star Wars. But anyways, continue.
Also a pretty bad decision for Star Trek, but
Well, I don't care about Star Trek anymore. They've already made so many bad decisions.
yeah. And his goal is apparently to drive that ship right into the ground with an R-rated flick.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of what he's all about. And
There's going to be a ton of swearing, ton of it's just going to be awful. It's going to be horrendously awful.
Not only that, but even just the movies he's done is nothing like Star Trek.
Right.
You know, it doesn't jive. I don't know what his vision is, but it's just gonna. Where's he gonna go? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even. You know what's funny? When I was looking around for stuff, I almost thought about talking about that, but I was like, you know what? I said I wasn't going to talk about Star Trek, and I'm going to stick to it because every decision they've made since I decided I didn't want to be a Star Trek fan anymore has been terrible. So I'm glad I'm off that ship.
Maybe they just don't think enough people want
good films.
Want what Star Trek was. Maybe they think the time for that has passed. Hey, actually, while we're talking about news and rumors and new Star Trek stuff, I had the opportunity to talk to Michael Dorn, and I know you did too, at Comic Con. For those of you that don't know, Michael Dorn played Lieutenant Worf on Star Trek Next Generation. And that character was also portrayed on Deep Space Nine. And he wanted to do his own show. He wanted to do a Worf-centric TV show very recently. He still wants to do it. And I think that would be great. I really do.
Yeah, I think so too. I like Michael Dorn. He had an awesome character. Worf was great.
Yeah. And really nice guy too.
He was super nice, although you almost broke his hand. That wasn't very nice of you.
Yeah.
Kyle is just too rough.
Oh, yeah. I was just practicing Klingon pain sticks with him.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see that. I'm pretty sure he'd whip your butt.
Probably. Except I broke his hand.
No, yeah, besides that. He is older. Chase, did you have any news, rumors?
No, I've been lazy. The month break has gotten to me, and so I forgot to do my homework, so I don't have anything for this time.
That's all right. I have plenty for the both of us.
Oh, good.
Yes. So,
wait, didn't your mom get you new underwear?
It's better than the other ones, just saying.
So I got some news and rumors. Most of it's probably news, not really rumors. But anyways, Marvel's Black Panther. You guys excited about that? I am.
Yeah.
February 16th is the release date. And it's not really big news, but the runtime is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's kind of a long film.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So that was it on the Black Panther movie. I'm going to be seeing that for sure. Cloverfield sequel. I know I talked about this earlier in probably an episode that was back in like September or something like that. So they got a Cloverfield sequel coming out. Supposed to be coming on February 2nd. Well, that got pushed to April 20th. So I really don't have high hopes for this movie because this is like the third or fourth time they've pushed the date back.
Mm-hmm.
And now it was supposed to be coming out February 2nd. Now it's April 20th. We do not have a release. Do not have a trailer. We do not have a poster. And we thought we had a title, which was God Particle, but they came back and said, that's actually not the title. It's untitled right now. So the movie's coming out on April 20th. It's got no trailer, no title, no poster. It's been pushed back 3 or 4 times. I don't have high hopes for this film.
It's called Stranger Things 3.
No, it's not. That would be terrible.
You don't know that?
Oh, I know.
Until they have denied it. That is what I'm going with.
Hey, Stranger Things 3, I wish was coming out on April 20th. It's probably not coming out till like next October. So I get more Star Wars news and rumors. So there's an unknown Star Wars film starting filming on June 2018 in Scotland. So most speculate that this is episode 9, that it's not some unknown title, but others are saying it might be something completely different that we don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's got to be episode 9. I mean, really, what else could it be? Unless they're starting to film that Obi-Wan movie, which is being rumored. But I wouldn't think they would start filming the Obi-Wan movie, which is going to come out after episode 9, before episode 9 starts filming.
And the thing with that, too, is the nickname for that movie, I got this from Star Wars City, was Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree is a tree from California. I don't remember what desert, but it's in a desert. Yeah. And we know that Obi-Wan lived on Tatooine, so I don't think that they would be filming in Scotland for something that's supposed to be a desert movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that it's scenes from Octo 2.
Yeah.
So it'll be episode 9. Maybe Rey goes back to Octo to try and find Luke or something.
Yeah.
And finds out that he's not there. Well, no, she already knows that he's not there.
She's not.
Never mind. Ignore that. She goes back to find something. Somebody goes back there for some reason.
Right. Or they're filming new scenes from 9. I think there's no doubt that it's 9. I would be surprised that it was anything else besides 9. But it's kind of exciting that they're going to be filming again because, that's pretty cool. And then in other Star Wars news, we know that on May the 25th of 2018, as of right now anyways, we are getting another Star Wars movie called Solo, A Star Wars Story. And we got the news this week that the Master returns, that John Williams has been confirmed that he will compose the theme song for the film. So I was pretty excited about that because I thought that was one of the things that Rogue One was missing, was I didn't think the soundtrack was up to Star Wars quality.
Yeah.
But adding John Williams and putting his fingerprints on it, it's gonna be great.
So here's my question. Where is the trailer?
That is a good question.
I want the trailer.
Yeah, it is a good question. We don't have a trailer. We don't have a movie poster. So I forget. I should have put this in there. Man, probably a couple weeks ago, I was reading an article, and someone respected in the industry, the movie making industry, read the script of Solo, a Star Wars movie or Star Wars story, and said that it was the best script he had ever read.
Wow.
Which I was like, pleasantly surprised. I am looking forward to it, but do I think it's going to be the best Star Wars movie? No, but I am looking forward to it. So when I heard that, I was like, hey, maybe this movie could be a lot better than we're expecting. I
would like it to be.
Yeah. I like the actors in it. I really like all the characters. I like the guy who's going to be Lando Calrissian. I don't really know the guy who's playing Han. But then what's the guy? Woody Harrelson. He's going to be in it. I mean, he's awesome. And Emilia Clarke's in it, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. You guys.
I haven't really been paying attention to the Solo movie.
What have you been doing with your life?
I think I talked about it earlier. I've been getting filmed and stuff without my knowledge, and then I was playing Fortnite, and I went to a movie, but otherwise I've been depressed and in the dark.
Well, we're going to move on. And so that's it for news and rumors and for this week. And
Don't you love how my friends here have been depressed and in the dark, and they're like, let's move on. That's too sad. Let's talk about something else.
We get used to that with you, It's kind of, it happens. So,
by the way, that's not really true. I know my mom listens, and she'll be worried about me if I don't. I'm not really sad.
Don't worry. I've been keeping track of him. He's all right. All right. So that's it for news and rumors. Let's move on. But first, a word from our friends.
This segment is brought to you by Geek-Cetera. Our moms listen.
Doodly-doo-doo.
My mom's listening. She's my friend.
It's just during the week when you have to work, I think you get depressed. Then when we hang out on the weekends, you're all fun and bubbly. Then,
would you say that he's super friendly?
I would say so, yeah.
Oh, man.
He's not going to be super friendly, though, in a couple days because he was sharing a drink with my dad, and my dad is sick as a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's going to be...
That is also something I did.
That would have been a funny way to start it. And this weekend, I shared a drink with Josh's dad. Swap spit with Josh's dad. That sounds worse.
Yes, it does.
Way worse.
Yeah, Josh and I never hang out, but me and Josh's dad, who is not a fan of the show but is a fan of me and Josh and Chase, we had a drink together this weekend.
Isn't that sad? My father is not a fan of our show. I hope that I am a fan of whatever my child decides to do.
Yeah. Your father will not give me his attention, but he will give me his germs.
True.
Yep.
So we'll pull it back in. Ready for the next segment?
Sure.
All right. In this segment we call Can't Wait, we talk about the trailers that we saw that we're looking forward to seeing, playing, whatever. And I'm going to start this one. I just watched a trailer for a movie called Attila. Oh, no, that's not what it's called. It's called Alita Battle Angel. And that name sounds really corny. It's actually from an anime series, which was called Battle Angel Alita. And it's got actually really big names in the film. Like the main villain is Jennifer Connelly. And Christoph Waltz is in it. He's one of the main heroes. Ed Sheeran, Michelle Rodriguez, and I can't say this guy's name. Maher Shala Ali. I think he's like a big guy. He's like a big somebody in Hollywood that's winning awards.
Are you sure that other guy's name is Ed Sheeran? Sounds a lot like Ed Sheeran.
No, it's not Ed Sheeran. It's Screen. Ed Screen. He was in like the X-Men movies. He was Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
how do you say that guy's name? Ed
Ah.
Skrein?
Shrine? I don't know.
Anyways, he's a big name. Who's also in Mad Max.
Big unpronounceable name.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what this movie is about is Alita is a broken android, and she's saved by Christoph Waltz's character. He's some kind of scientist, and he fixes her. And for some reason, they make it seem like it's probably because Alita is super powerful. All these other androids are hunting her down and trying to fight her. So it looks like a movie where all these androids are just beating each other up, which kind of looks cool. It's not rated yet, so I'm not exactly sure what it will be. It could be rated R, possible, but it didn't seem like there was anything in it that would make it rated R. But the release date is July 20th, 2018. I'm looking forward to seeing that, although I may be a little busy because that is just a couple days before I'm expecting a baby.
Yep.
Probably more than a little busy.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. We could bring the baby to the movie. All the people around us would love that, crying baby.
Yeah, your wife would love that.
Get a babysitter. Who wants to babysit? I know who would babysit. Your wife, Kyle, would babysit anytime.
Your sister would babysit.
Your sister would babysit.
You don't know my sister. Although my sister would babysit.
It's just when you said your sister would babysit, it sounded like your sister, your mom, that kind of thing.
No, but your mom would babysit.
My mom would babysit. Your mom would babysit. My
mom
would babysit. So Chase's mom would probably babysit.
It's true, but not Chase.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Chase, you're probably safe with like 10-year-olds, but I don't know if I'd trust you with my baby.
All right, Chase, did you see any trailers?
I did see trailers. So, Crooked House slipped by my radar, and I don't really know how it did that. Kyle will probably be interested in this one. That is an Agatha Christie book made into a movie. It came out around the same time as Murder on the Orient, and so I think it kind of got overshadowed by that. So, the movie is already out.
Oh, really?
Time to go see. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was rated PG-13. Okay,
book by
Christina
Agatha Christie.
Hendricks.
Yeah, so again, it's like Murder on the Orient. It has a pretty good cast list from what I
Yeah,
saw.
it does.
So it's on the list to go see.
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm surprised we didn't hear about any. It mustn't have been
know.
like a big movie.
I was surprised because my mom looked up Murder on the Orient because she was going to go see it with my dad or make my dad go see it or something. Or she was looking up movie times for something else. And she's like, wait, what's this? And so we looked it up and we're like, wait, how is this an Agatha Christie thing that we didn't hear of? I find it a little weird, though, that they released it so... Wow, if I could English, that'd be nice. That they released it so close to the time of Murder on the Orient. Because usually, you'd want to space your own movies, so that way you don't steal your own ticket revenues.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Don't know. So, yeah. I'm interested. Looks
So
That's cool.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Close.
I'm going to look at the Rotten Tomatoes on it because I'm curious. It didn't do great, but not terrible. 69%. And it got a 63% user score.
higher user score than Last Jedi.
That's true. Very good.
Anything else, buddy?
Nope, I think it's on to you, Kyle.
It's on you, Cal.
All right. Sorry, I took that away from you, Josh. You want to see anything else? No? All right. Cool.
No?
All right. I saw the trailer for Early Man. This also came out before Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I guess I gotta say, first of all, I usually get my trailers when I go to see a movie because I don't watch a lot of TV and I don't see a lot of trailers unless I go to YouTube and say, show me trailers.
Yep, same.
But this Early Man, I think I have a trend too in this podcast of picking trailers for movies that I don't think are gonna be good.
Yeah, this looks terrible.
Because what else? Welcome to the Jungle, the Jumanji movie, and some others. But anyways, this one doesn't look like it's going to be good. It's a claymation stop motion flick. It's set to release on February 16th, 2018, the same day as Black Panther. So, I mean, yeah, it's not even going to compete for ticket sales. But my initial reaction when I saw it was, oh, this is going to be some sort of Wallace and Gromit movie because it's the
it looks like it's the same. Is it the same people who made Wallace and Gromit?
I don't know.
I think it's the same people who made Chicken Run for sure, and I think it's the same people who made Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, it is the same Chicken Run people. But I also remember asking Chase if he thought it would be a movie about Age of Empires when I started really getting into the trailer. because it's a Stone Age tribe taking on a Bronze Age city to save the home of the main characters. So I thought, it could be Age of Empires, and I know movies are trending towards that now. Like, let's take something people know and make it a movie, even if it's Battleship. And all right, people know Battleship and they know Rihanna. Let's make a movie. That's what I thought this was, but it wasn't even. It's just early man. It's just about some made up story, and it really looks like it's going to be cookie cutter. It's going to be your standard save the day, get the girl, happy ever after movie, and the humor's going to fall flat. I already know. And I don't know how they're going to sell tickets now that I know they're going to be going up on opening weekend against the Black Panther.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
And if they're Yeah, exactly. They're in trouble. And if they're depending on the big names behind the voices to sell tickets, because as we know, it's about the actors behind the voices now. It's not necessarily about the movie itself. They don't have the star power to even do that. The big name in this movie is Tom Hiddleston, and he plays Loki in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I love that character. I love Loki. You guys like Loki?
I like Loki. Yeah,
I like
he's
Loki.
great.
He's funny.
Okay. Do you like Tom Hiddleston? Is he a draw? Is he a big name?
I mean, no, I wouldn't go see it because he's voice acting a character. No.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. And after that, the names fall off a cliff. So what is selling this movie?
Stupidity.
Yeah, stupidity. It's not tied to any big names. It's not tied to Wallace and Gromit. It's not tied to a game. It's on its own going up against Black Panther.
Yeah. The sole thing that will sell this movie is stupid humor, which I agree with you. The humor is going to fall flat to everybody. But it's going to be like, you know, the guy steps on a rake and it hits him in the face. That kind of stupid humor that's been done a million times and is not actually funny, especially in a claymation style.
Yeah.
There's more names than Kyle was leading on. I just
I
pulled
hate
it up.
claymation.
Eddie Redmayne's in it.
Who is?
Eddie Redmayne.
Okay.
You guys don't know who Eddie Redmayne is?
Nope.
Was in Les Mis. He was in Theory of Everything. He was in the movie that I think was a Harry Potter prequel or something, Fantastic Beasts. He was in that. Not that I've seen that, but he was in it. Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these.
Oh, I mean, the big thing that he was in was Theory of Everything. He was what's his name? Stephen Hawking.
You're really selling this guy.
He was Stephen Hawking in Theory of Everything. You don't remember that movie, Theory of Everything?
Nope.
The life story of Stephen Hawking. And then there was the girl Maisie Williams, who's from Game of Thrones. I think that's the big thing she's in. Sorry, that's all.
Yeah, still sounds boring.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm just saying there's more names in it than the way Kyle made it sound like it was only Tom Hiddleston. The rest of the people I don't really know.
Yep, and I still won't see it in the movie theaters, and then it'll be on Netflix. That's one of those shows you watch on Netflix, and I'm still not going to watch it on Netflix.
Yep.
I think this is going to be great now that I look at the cast.
I sincerely hope you're joking.
I just have to disagree with everything Kyle says.
Go for it.
Oh, Mark Williams? There's a lot of big names
Chase,
in
do
this.
you know who Mark Williams is?
I have no idea. It's like one of the most generic first names and one of the most generic last names. It could be like 400 different people out there named Mark Williams.
He was in Drunk History.
Why would I know that?
Oh, wouldn't you? He was in Doctor Who.
As who?
Everybody's in Doctor Who, and they're all in makeup.
Brian Williams in Doctor Who in 2002. He was
Brian Williams in Doctor Who.
Yes.
Josh, this proves you don't watch Doctor Who.
I'm just saying, there's a pretty good cast of characters in this movie. I don't know why you're hating on it so bad. Johnny Vegas is in it.
Who?
Johnny Vegas.
You can keep listing names, and we're just going to say who for all of them.
He was in the movie Murder on the Blackpool Express.
Okay. All right. We're moving on. This is not happening.
He really was. There's a movie called that.
No, there's not.
There wasn't.
Yes, there is. Murder on the Blackpool Express.
Nope.
Oh, and Johnny Vegas is in it. All right. So is that it? Are you done hating on great movies?
Nope.
No, I know you're not. It's our next segment. Well, that is all we have for trailers that we've watched in the last month or so. But before we move on, let's get a word from our friends.
This segment is brought to you by Geek-Cetera. Exclusive interviews.
So at Rhode Island Comic Con, I got a chance to sit down with one of the stars of Star Wars The Last Jedi. And we're going to bring you that interview now in a segment we call An Afternoon with Kylo Ren. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous. I've never done this exciting of an interview before, so... Man, my nerves. So, who talks first? Do you talk first? Do I talk first? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so I want to start off by saying I am a huge fan of yours. Just a big fan. I think you're so cool. I'm really into your whole angry thing that you have going on. Super digging that. And your tri-blade lightsaber, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you call it. That is dope.
Yes, I'm sure you do. But your groveling is pointless. I'm already on the team. Team Dark Eagle.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Of course it does. But what you think is irrelevant. Can we speed this up?
Yeah, so the first question I wanted to ask you about was a question about your family, your childhood. What was it like being raised by Han and Leia Solo?
You mean the two murderers, traitors, and thieves turned geriatrics you call heroes? You'll be relieved to know they were the best mom and pop a boy could ever ask for. Why did they throw me away? Why? Anything else?
Okay, how about this one? Did it make you uncomfortable to appear shirtless in front of Rey, Kenobi, Skywalker, Solo, whoever she is?
No. I know what I must do. But I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it. Do you think she'll help me?
Yeah, it's really hard to say. So, and another question. Recently, there was sort of a big surprise when you dispatched your master. How did it feel putting an end to Supreme Leader Snoke?
How did it feel? How did it feel? The Supreme Leadership? It belongs to me. I've waited so long for it. I don't know how you found out about this, but the First Order can never discover the truth. I will spare your life because you are a friend of Dark Eagle's, but I'll have to take that knowledge from you, and you won't like it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your secret's safe with me. From my point of view, he was evil. And that dude gave me the creeps.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Sorry, I'm not sure if you got that reference, but I just had to do it. I really want to be Darth Vader, but Anakin was so annoying, am I right? I mean, now this is pod racing. Don't you feel like laughing? Or don't you know I can make you?
Yeah. Now, another question. There's been a lot of talk about romance in the Star Wars universe. Are you buying Fozy or Ren?
Fozy? Ren? Oh, pop culture. No, I ship Rilo.
Sure she feels that way as well. Yikes. So it appears you had the chance to follow up the killing of your father by destroying your mother. Why didn't you pull the trigger and fire upon the Raddus?
An insignificant old man once said that I cannot deny the truth that is my family. I guess he was right.
Yeah, I like that guy. So, we've been learning a little bit more about you as of recently, but Kylo, tell us something about yourself that you think people should know.
No, enough of this. It's time for you to give me what I want.
I'm not even sure I understand what that means.
It's okay. I feel it too. You didn't know what you were getting into. You're confused, scared. Just tell me what you thought of The Last Jedi, and it will all be over.
But Kylo, I made an entire video about it on YouTube. It has like 30 views. I guess you probably didn't get a chance to watch it yet?
That's odd. You said this interview was done at Comic Con, over a month before your video would have been up. Would you have me believe that this podcast has continuity errors? No. No, you're hiding something. Your lies betray you for your co-host. He doesn't like The Last Jedi, does he? You know I can take whatever I want. Just Tell me about Chase That Frisbee.
I'm not even sure I understand what that means.
This interview is over. I have what I need. Take this man to my shuttle and wipe his memory. Then leave him on Kinto Bite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice job scoring that interview, Josh. But we should probably get on with that great debate before we lose Chase for good, huh?
All right. We're going to talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi. I will start because
That's
I have
debatable.
one word for this film, and it was awesome. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't care that it's unpopular to like this. I am not getting on the bandwagon of haters because I really enjoyed this film. I think, yes, there was some issues with the story. I think there's probably issues with every Star Wars story, but overall, it was a great film, and I think 10, 20, 30 years down the road, when we look back at this film, we're going to say it was a good film.
Well, I'm glad you said it like that, and not we're going to look back at this film and say it was just as good as Empire Strikes Back. I'm glad you're not making those comparisons.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not stupid.
Okay.
I can agree with that because I think that there's a lot that Episode 9 can do to help how bad Episode 8 was.
I think
Episode 9 can fix everything, and everyone will be like, oh yeah, this totally just led right into Episode 9, and that's why we had to suffer through it.
So the debate is on. We're going to put this out there. There's going to be a lot of spoilers, so please hit stop right now or fast forward to the end for our outro if you don't want to hear any spoilers about Last Jedi. Now, with that being said, can you please explain to me, because I've had this debate with many Last Jedi haters that want to hate on the film. Can you please explain to me what made this the worst Star Wars movie?
I didn't say it was the worst.
You said better than Phantom, but garbage nonetheless.
Yes, I did.
To quote,
it's not hard to be better than Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace is my favorite of the Star Wars films.
Why do you even show up to these?
So can you please, now I'm asking you to put together, besides just saying, because this is what I'm getting from a lot of these Star Wars Last Jedi haters, it's driving me up a wall, is it's stupid, it's garbage, I just hated everything about it. And that is not specific. I want specifics. Lay it out for me. I can look at this movie objectionably and say, I did not like what happened with Leia. I thought when Leia was sucked out into the void of space,
stupid.
She should have died. I agree there.
And that would have been a good way to kill Carrie Fisher, because we were told that Episode 8 was going to be pretty brutal. I'm like, if they just straight up kill Leia like that, it would put everyone in dead silence. And it would have been a good way to work around the death of Carrie Fisher.
And I do agree. They should have killed her off there. But I think they had already finished filming when she died. So I think that is part of the reason.
Yep.
But I when I was getting into that conversation with Miss Vesuvi on our YouTube, I mentioned that I did not like that part of the movie. And she brought up some valid points about how when she is sitting there and they show her face, she knows what is about to happen because she has the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So when she is sucked out into space, she is aware that it's going to happen and prepared to almost protect her body in the vacuum of space. Now, to me, I don't think you can survive in the vacuum of space. No. I think it takes a microsecond. She claims that scientists recently doing scientific experiments have said that the body can survive in the vacuum of space for a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah, and I think we saw that in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah. So if that is true, that you could survive for a minute and a half, maybe someone with the Force could survive 2 minutes. And if you take that as a straight out scene where they cut around to a couple things and then come back to that scene, whereas it all happens in 2 minutes or less, then maybe she's only in the vacuum of space for that quick of time. And she's able to use the Force. I know it looks funny because she was like Superman style through space into the ship, but she's able to use the Force to save her. She also brought out the fact that Luke said to her in the end of Return of the Jedi that in time you will as well, when speaking about using the Force, in time you will as well know how to use the Force. So in between those 30 years, who's to say what Leia has been faced against? and that maybe she's actually developed using the Force a little bit, even though we haven't seen it in film.
Yeah, and I can agree with that. I don't love it either.
I don't love it either. But I don't think it's enough to say that this film is garbage because of it.
No, and I'm not saying that's the only reason. One of the things that kind of made me cue in on, though, for the rest of the movie, is the Force movements of people were so cheesy and stupid. It was such a low production quality for those couple moments. You see in other times when people are like, being held by their neck, and they're actually resisting it, whereas they just had Rey stand like a board and say, someone's going to wheel you around on this green dolly wearing a green suit, so that way we can filter it out later with CGI. And she's just sitting there, like, laying around. It doesn't look like she's resisting, which some people are like, oh, she's just resisting it. I'm like, no, she would actually be fighting back.
Well, no, and I disagree with you there, because Snoke was demonstrating total control.
Yeah.
Maybe Vader didn't have the ability or the fine-tuned sense of the Force that Snoke does to be able to completely incapacitate her.
Yeah. I think that is true right there. I think what you're seeing is a combination of two things. You're seeing, because we know that Kylo can stun, right? He was able to stun Poe, so he could not move. So where did he learn that ability? Most likely from his master Snoke. So we're seeing that Snoke can actually freeze you and move you at the same time. She's frozen and being dragged towards him. She can't fight because she's frozen.
Also, I think Vader, when he was doing what he did, was to instill fear and to demonstrate just the power of the Force. But where Snoke, Rey is strong in the Force. Rey had demonstrated her powers, so Snoke needed to demonstrate complete control.
Yeah.
Okay, what you guys are saying can make sense. I just think that the way they did it is cheesy and stupid looking.
How many times have you seen the movie? Just once still?
I've seen it twice.
Okay, twice. And you still felt that way? Because after seeing it the second time, I really liked it better. I didn't like it less.
Yeah,
I liked it more.
And then I don't like how long that subplot took with Rose and Finn.
The Canto Bight stuff?
Yep. How they take this
Canto
entire... It's not that I didn't like Canto Bight. I didn't like that they took an hour of the movie to go explore Canto Bight to try and find the codebreaker that Maz was talking about, to get locked up and stuck with Benicio del Toro.
I guess, for a subplot, it didn't really turn out the way you expected, but I like that because it's not always going to go right. You have a lot of scumbags in the universe that are going to try to take advantage of you, and I think DJ turned out to be that.
But for a subplot, it took too long. And it could have been they had to go find a code breaker, and it didn't have to be on Canto Bight, and they get stuck with the sleazeball, but I don't think that they needed to spend that long doing it.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it took a long time, but it was a whole subplot of, okay, we got a little bit of hope, but how are we going to get out of this? And we got a little bit of hope. And in the end, you expect it to work. And when it finally doesn't work, I like that. I like the idea that it's not always going to turn out well. It's not always going to go good for the good guys.
Right, me too.
And I agree with that. It's just, I feel like it didn't need to waste that much time in order to have the same effect.
You're right, and the only thing I would do to change it, I wouldn't remove it. I would have just raised the stakes. I would have maybe killed off Rosie. Or
I don't think killing off Rose has that much of an effect, though, because you barely get to know her.
I would have killed off Finn. I don't care. Like,
I thought that they were going to.
I thought they were going to, and my mouth was dropped.
I was hoping they would.
My jaw was dropped through that entire scene, and I would have accepted it. I'm okay with that kind of a payoff.
I didn't like how Phasma was a complete waste of existence in this movie, which made her completely irrelevant in the last movie, too. Because everyone thinks, oh, she somehow made it out of the trash compactor. We know she's going to be back for episode 8. She's going to be so cool. And then they just threw her away again.
Yeah, I would agree with that she was a kind of a lousy character. But I don't think that ruins a movie.
Especially because of what you guys and Luke were all saying about the Phasma book and comics or whatever, how it adds so much character to her and how she's so ruthless, and that's how she got to where she is, that she can be beaten that easily twice.
Yeah.
Really?
She got beaten pretty good in this one. I mean, her mask was destroyed.
Yep.
But I mean, none of the stuff that you're saying, I understand it. I don't think it makes the movie a bad movie. I think it makes it different than the other Star Wars movies, which I don't think is bad.
Speaking of different than the other Star Wars movies, everyone said it was unpredictable, except for all the points when it was exact copies of every other movie.
Like?
The opening scene when they're trying to escape from the planet. Did that not remind you of the escape from Hoth?
Not at all.
The trench fights at the end of the movie with the AT-ATs. Did that not remind you of Hoth? And how didn't it?
The escape from the planet didn't remind me of Hoth. I guess the trench fights maybe, but I mean, how else do you expect them to hold themselves up?
I don't know. I think there are more unique ways to do it than putting them on this giant open plain with, a couple trenches and massive AT-ATs walking at you.
I mean, they were using tech from the era of Hoth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the defense setup that they went with back then.
Yeah.
They were working with what they had. I don't know. I think that keeps the consistency of this is a Star Wars movie. All of a sudden, they didn't come up with some new tech to be able to defend their bases. It's still the same old tech from the original, battles. I don't know. That doesn't bother me.
And I liked that.
I mean, Last Jedi had a lot of. I mean, with these movies, what can you expect, right? There's bad guys, there's good guys, and they're now going to be going on to the 9th movie, and we want something fresh. They've done 9 movies. I like the stories. I like what they've done, so why would I want them to change it that dramatically? I mean, I thought they changed it pretty big. I mean, killing off the villain, killing off all the main characters like they're doing. I mean, that's pretty different for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I would have liked in that battle on whatever, I forget the name of that planet with the salt and the adorable foxes things. Crate. That it, because of the salt and whatever it looks, and the flat plains, it looks so much like Hoth. They could have still done the old tech, like Josh is saying, but they could have done it in a different environment. They could have had it set up where, the remaining rebels kind of set up an ambush in the middle of the mountains and whatever.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think there's a method to the reasons they do certain things. I think they're somewhat scientifically accurate. And when you look at the planets, a lot of them are deserts and desolate. So that's what they're doing with the planets in the Star Wars universe. More of them are desolate, Jakkus and Tatooines and Hoths and Crates than the Alderons and Endors of the world.
Yeah.
But
and then the scene in Snoke's throne room was a parallel to the Emperor's throne room in Episode 6, where Snoke has Rey sit in a corner and has her watch as the entire Rebel fleet gets blown up.
That just seems like a sinister, evil thing that people do. Like, bad guys do that often.
Yeah, I just been there, done that.
He's showing
bored of it.
At that point, he's like showing off. Look, I'm about to win. You are about to lose. Because that's how he feels.
And in that scene, it completely actually flips the throne room scene.
It does flip
from Return of the Jedi, because in Return of the Jedi, the Empire is baiting Luke to strike him down and become more powerful. Like, that's what he wants him to do. Where Rey wants to do that to Snoke, and he won't let it happen. He doesn't want that to happen. Like, eventually he dies, and they fight back. Kylo turns, but that's a complete flip of script from what the Emperor would have done.
I'm not saying the entire script is the same. I'm saying that there are way too many similarities when they had so much room to go off and do different things. Like, there's a lot about the movie that is different. There are scenes that I really liked. I liked how Holdo sent the ship into hyperspace through the other ship.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Amazing. That was a really cool cinematic scene. It annoyed me that Holdo didn't do that, 20 Rebel ships earlier. she sits there watching them get blown up, and then is like, "Oh, I have an idea. I'll turn this around."
Yeah.
Like, you think after they found out that they were not cloaked and the first one gets blown up, you'd decide to do something like that. That dramatic pause, just that Rey and Kylo can kill Snoke and the guards and make their escape just in time.
But then you dehumanize Holdo because she sees that first thing hit. And she goes through a whole range of emotions. Maybe you don't see it on her face. Maybe they don't portray it. But the first, like that first emotion would be like that disbelief, like what is happening, and then maybe even fear, doubt. What am I gonna do? Yeah, she ends up saving some of them, but she has to go through some stages of other emotions to be able to get to that point of rationalizing. She's not a robot where she can just flip that switch. Okay, that didn't work, so what can I do now? Those are her friends dying.
Yeah, I agree.
Chase?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Should I keep going with things I didn't like?
Well, yeah, I thought you'd have a response.
Yeah, if you'd like.
I don't know.
I feel like I made my points on that, so...
Okay. Look, I just feel like, at worst, the jury should be out on this movie. Because there were a lot of risks taken, and the payout remains to be seen in Episode 9. We don't know what's going to take shape with this movie, so I think at worst, you can't say it was a bad movie. At worst, you have to say the jury's out. At best, you can like the movie. But that's just, of course, my opinion.
Yeah. At worst, I will say the jury is out then, because I like the risk taken. I like that they're killing off characters, because not a lot of movies do that. Or they kill off background characters you don't care about. Yeah. So to kill off these main characters that you've been attached to through the original trilogy, I think is unique. I don't like when they're deciding to play it safe, but change it a little bit.
But I don't even know if they were playing it safe and changing it a little bit. If you go back to the whole Canto Bite sequence when they have DJ, they find the code breaker, and he is very reminiscent of Lando. So you think, okay, here's this scummy scoundrel guy who's, he's playing for both sides. You can see how he can see both sides, but he's going to come through for us. He's on our team. And then instead of saving them, he betrays them and keeps that betrayal going, unlike Lando. Like, you think, okay, this is what he's going to do, and he doesn't.
Mm-mm.
The Last Jedi takes a lot of Star Wars-esque scenarios and plays them through where you think you know exactly what's going to happen, and they flip it. They don't do that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Very good. So I guess, hey, this is the thing. We've said it before. We've had an episode called "Opinions Are Like Armpits," right? We can have our own different opinions. I just don't see that the flaws in the film are enough to make this film be considered one of the best, the worst movies ever. And people are crying to have it stricken from canon and all this stuff like that. And to me, that seems like an awful lot of overreaction.
I do think it's overreaction.
It is
you're
overreaction.
Right. Opinions are like armpits. But, I wear deodorant, so... Oh, also, I do want to make this point that episodes 1 through 9 are about the Skywalkers.
Yep.
So we have to watch this narrative thinking, okay, how is the Skywalker story going to end?
Mm-hmm.
So looking through it with that lens, Luke's dead. Is it about Ben's redemption? Or is it about Rey finding out her true parentage? But this has to end. The Skywalker story has to have a definitive end in the next movie. Mm-hmm. So if the next movie is a bad movie and makes Episode 8 a bad movie, it's because it doesn't definitively end the Skywalker story.
Mm.
But I do want to point out that I think Star Wars has a problem, and it's a problem that started with the prequels. And it's that they have a villain problem.
How so?
Darth Maul was a really good villain in Episode 1.
Yes.
Say what you will about that first movie. They killed him off. Then they bring in Dooku. And I thought he was a really weak villain. I did not like the way they portrayed him at all. And I am a fan of the prequels, but it wasn't great. And then they had Grievous, and I did not like Grievous. I thought he was a terrible villain.
Grievous was bad.
Yeah, he was really bad in the way they killed him off. Insidious was okay, I guess, but he wasn't that great either. So the prequels just didn't have great villains. Nothing lived up to Vader. And even with the original trilogy, Boba Fett was supposed to be a great villain, and I think the fans love Boba Fett greater than the character he actually was.
Yeah, I think we like him more than we should.
Okay, I agree.
I love Boba Fett. He's amazing, but no, we didn't get enough from him to make him as amazing as we think he is.
Oh, he's amazing.
And I think Phasma plays into that. So now we have this new trilogy. We have Kylo Ren, who started off as a great villain. I loved him in the first movie, and I like him now. But his presence, it's entertaining, but his presence as a villain isn't very weighty. He's more petulant, and he does have a good story. But as a strong, dark villain, he's just not it. Snoke was set up to be pretty good, and as far as I'm concerned, he's dead. He could return in the next movie, he probably won't. Hux isn't very great. Phasma, I thought she was going to be great. They brought her back, and then it wasn't a great scene. So, Star Wars has a villain problem. They have not brought something back that was as good as Darth Vader. And the only redeeming quality I can see, and the only reason they would have had to kill off the villains that they have had in these past two movies, is to bring the Knights of Ren in. So they need to bring in the Knights of Ren or some other villain that can really hold up. And they're only going to have that villain for one movie, so they better do it right.
I think the Knights of Ren would be a really, really cool way to close out the trilogy.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about who they are.
But what do you guys think? Does Star Wars have a villain problem?
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Especially the new trilogy.
Yeah. And that's probably my biggest problem with Star Wars as a whole. They should have had Darth Maul be through at least 2 movies, probably 3 in the prequels.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a way to get out of Episode 1 without killing Maul.
Maul kills Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
and
Maul doesn't actually die. He does live.
And then
I don't care that that's canon. He does not live. He should be dead.
He lives.
He should be dead, but you make the prequels better by not making episodes 1 through 9 about the Skywalker family. You can make the prequels about how Anakin came around, but the prequels should have been about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It should have been Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul for 3 movies.
Alrighty.
that went off The Last Jedi, but that's where I stand there. Jango Fett too. Jango Fett wasn't great.
Yep.
Jabba the Hutt was pretty good. I like Jabba.
Yeah, I like having him as like the slumlord. You can go into the animated stuff, and they're still not that good. So.
Alrighty, guys, are you ready to wrap this episode?
Yep.
Alright, well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Geek-Cetera. Join us next time for another thrilling adventure. But until then, being like everybody is the same as being nobody.
Hasta lasagna, don't get any on you.
I only know one thing. It's time for the podcast to end.
For more from the geeks, please check out geek-cetera.com. This podcast was brought to you by the Geek-Cetera team. Now this is podcasting.